subject of this edition of Test Drive is Honda's latest Civic. Now, for the longest while, this vehicle was considered the benchmark car in the compact category. However, with time, we've seen other cars equal it and in some areas surpass it. The question is, will this latest generation Civic return Honda to the top of the heap? Beneath the hood and behind the stylish new nose sits Honda's wonderful 1.6-litre 16-valve single overhead cam engine. While the 106 horsepower and 103 pounds-feet of torque are not class leaders, they do yield better than average performance. Throttle response is quick and the speed builds in fine fashion right up to the red line. And unlike many other lesser engines, this one loves to rev, and it does so without becoming overly noisy. In the run to the 100k mark, the Civic sedan requires just over 9.5 seconds, which is more than respectable, and yet return no less than 7.2 litres per 100 kilometres or 40 miles per gallon. This is nothing short of outstanding mileage. Matched with this sweet engine is an electronically controlled 4-speed automatic with lock-up converter, 4th gear overdrive and grade logic control. Grade logic is a program designed to eliminate the hunting between gears when climbing a hill and to provide some engine braking when descending hills. The ECU decides which mode is appropriate using a number of different sensors. All the inputs are used to determine if the car is climbing, descending or on the level. Once it has made up its mind, the ECU either downshifts to provide engine braking or holds the gear to prevent unwanted upshifts. Well, that's the theory, and you know it works quite well in practice with one exception. Just as you're coming to a standstill, if you get off the brake and onto the gas, you catch the gearbox napping. It doesn't know which gear to go into, so it thunks into one or the other. The result, not particularly smooth. It's just a matter of refinement before grade logic truly works. The longer I drove the car, the more I disliked some of the traits, and so if it were my money on the line, a stick shift is the route I'd be taking. The suspension on the Civic is an area that has been particularly well done. It is fully independent, uses double wishbones and a refined version of Honda's progressive valve gas-charged shock absorbers at all 4 corners. Some changes to the front geometry and a lower roll centre improve straight line stability and cornering linearity. Similar modifications in the rear help to counteract bump steer and minimise the effects of trailing throttle oversteer. The ride comfort is quite simply outstanding considering this is a compact car. Both the big bumps and the annoying small bumps like expansion joints are handled equally well. Most of the credit going here to the compliant spring rates in the shocks. These are particularly good at filtering out the jarring sensation evident in most small cars. When it comes to handling, the Civic again shines, albeit in a limited capacity. The limiting factor are the Dunlop tyres. They run out of traction long before the car runs out of ability. Better rubber would improve things immensely, especially in the wet. One other comment here, and that is that the power steering is too light for my taste. While it provides quite good feedback and on-centre feel, the light nature imparts a somewhat vague feel. The Civic uses front discs and rear drums to stop. As with the Taurus, I immediately picked up on the fact that the pedal feel has been substantially improved, meaning it is now exceptionally easy to modulate. The stops, which measured 112 feet from 80k, were straight controlled and fade-free. The optional ABS fitted to our tester adds the required level of safety. The only comment here is that like every other Honda ever tested, the ABS is overly anxious to intervene. In the wet, this becomes particularly obvious. Again, I don't think the tyres help this situation either. The reworked interior on this Civic has been done very well indeed. Start with the centre console. The radio sits where it should and the climate controls are very easy to reach. Secondly, this is the only Honda product I've ever driven where I could actually get the wheel up high enough so I could see the entire dash. The only low note, the choice of fabrics. It's going to collect more lint than my brush does in a year. From an ergonomic perspective, the new layout is a dream. The front seats are well padded, comfortable and supply the right level of support. The door mirrors, despite the fact that they are manual, are easily adjusted and perhaps more importantly, very good at limiting blind spots. Those relegated to the rear will appreciate the extra 33mm of legroom. The standard split folding rear seats add to the practicality and can be locked in the upright position. Furthering the quest for trunk security is a lockable remote release. Two minor quibbles with the interior. First, the interior light is very dim. Second, whenever you select defrost, the air conditioner is automatically turned on. Now this in itself is not a bad thing, except for the fact that when you choose any other setting, the AC stays on. The result is that you end up driving around with the air conditioning on all the time, wasting a lot of money, especially in winter. I think it's fairly obvious from my commentary that I believe the Civic has regained its leadership status in the compact car market. I like the reworked interior and the refined ride, and true to tradition, this edition of the Civic, well, it's still easy on the old pocketbook.